Artur Beterbiev gets the decision, majority decision. Cards 116, 112, 115, 113, 114, 114. So one draw, and two judges had it for Artur Beterbiev, which was highly controversial. Highly controversial. Let's get into it. I thought Dmitry Bivol won the fight. I hesitate to use the R word because I think we throw that around in boxing way too much. Robbery. This felt like it could have been that. This felt like Dmitry Bivol's fight. There were times that I was just looking even on Twitter to see some reaction, and there were a lot of people, not a little bit, but a lot of people who said Bivol probably had this in the bag and Artur Beterbiev needed a knockout going into the first, or going into the last two rounds, rather. For the most part, people are in agreement that at a bare minimum, we should get a rematch because this was a tight fight. But to me, transparently, had Dmitry Bivol winning this fight 8-4. So 116, 112. Thought he outboxed Artur Beterbiev. Thought Artur Beterbiev took a while to get going into this fight. Had Bivol winning 5-0 at one point. Didn't think Artur Beterbiev won any of the first several rounds, and then really kicked it into gear in those middle rounds of the fight. Bivol responded, and then I thought Artur Beterbiev closed strong. Ultimately, he gets a decision. I thought it was a great boxing match, but it's obviously going to be clouded by this. And boxing, it tends to happen sometimes. And I think the mistake that judges make and the mistake that people make when looking at these fights is they reward aggression. People said, hey, Dmitry Bivol, look at him. His face was swollen after the fight. Artur Beterbiev was busted up a little bit as well. And Artur Beterbiev also was very inaccurate despite his aggression throughout the night. He was aggressive. He was trying to push the pace. He wasn't as aggressive as I felt like he even could have been in spots. But just because you're aggressive doesn't mean you win a fight, especially if your opponent is more accurate, is outboxing you. And in Dmitry Bivol's case, he was boxing very well on the back foot. Like, he wasn't retreating. Some other guys, yeah, you can say like, oh, they're boxing, when sometimes it's not the case. You're really just retreating. But no, Dmitry Bivol gives you angles. He creates space. He doesn't stay on the ropes. He doesn't move around for the sake of moving around. Like, yes, there were times where he would move just to create that space. And, you know, he got rocked a few times and then had to like buy his time. But then he would come back with his own combination. Like, he would do this repeatedly. He did this against Canelo Alvarez, where he wasn't backing down, so to speak, but he would fight him off his back foot. He would move, pivot, switch, give you a different angle, then hit you from over here, then pivot, switch over to his right. Like, his footwork was beautiful in this fight. It was true boxing. It was real boxing that Dmitry Bivol gave us, and I felt like he was robbed of an opportunity to become undisputed because of that. Now, there's expected to be a rematch, and all sides seem to want this. Boxing fans, most importantly, will demand this. And it looks like at some point next year, we should have a rematch to determine who rightfully will be undisputed light heavyweight champion. By the way, when that rolls around, Artur Beterbiev will be 40 years old. Now, let's look at the punch stats. Because in the fight itself, I think that, yes, the aggression could tell you one thing. And I don't think punch stats are always the best and most accurate indicator of a fight on its surface. But it backed up what a lot of us appeared to see. You could disagree and say Artur Beterbiev won the fight. And listen, drop it in the comments. I would not mind that. We can talk rationally about this. But to me, the punch stats are an indicator of what I saw in this bout. Artur Beterbiev outlanded Dmitry Bivol in round 3. 13-12, but was very inaccurate. 19% of his shots landed in that round. Bivol was closer to 29%, 28.6. So 9.5 percentage points higher in terms of accuracy. Dmitry Bivol was in round 3. Artur Beterbiev's output was 68 punches. Dmitry Bivol landed 12 of 42. So one fewer punch landed on Bivol, but much more accurate. And I feel like that's important when you're talking about boxing. Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol landed 9 punches in round 6 each. Dmitry Bivol did it while only throwing 30 punches, so he landed 30% of his punches. And Artur Beterbiev threw 58 punches in round 6, landing half the percentage points that Bivol did, 15.5%, basically half. You go to round 7. I thought this was one of Beterbiev's best rounds. He was inaccurate this round, but if you watch, like, the punches were damaging. He was clearly getting to Bivol a little bit. Bivol was looking to buy his time and wasn't really active enough. Bivol landed 13 of 35. Artur Beterbiev landed 17 of 74, 23% to 37%. But watching that visually, that was a Beterbiev round to me. Round 8, he outlanded him. And round 8, he outlanded him, and the percentage was higher. Even though I thought Bivol landed more than 7 punches, they have him on copy box for 7 punches. I thought he did more than that, but okay. If we want to give that to Bivol, if we want to give that round rather to Beterbiev, I still don't think that's enough, because I would still have it 7-5 to Bivol. But okay. Bivol landed 7 of 32. Artur Beterbiev landed 12 of 46. So 26% to 22%. It's the only round in the entire fight that Beterbiev was more accurate than Dmitry Bivol. And he outlanded him and he outthrew him in that round. And other than that, you got round 10, where he threw and landed 10 of 70. That's 14%. Bivol was 9 of 27, 33%. And then in round 11, it was 21 of 72, 29%, where Bivol was 15 of 34, 44%. That's the most accurate round of the fight, and it felt like it. And then in the last round, it was 15 of 63 for Artur Beterbiev at 23.8%. Bivol was 14 of 39, 36.8%. Now, Bivol did a great job with the high guard. Artur Beterbiev, because he doesn't throw the body enough, both guys landed just 31 body punches each. So this entire fight was a lot of head hunting. Artur Beterbiev did not throw to the body enough, and I felt like it should have cost him. Ultimately, he still got the decision, but it could have been a way to slow down Dmitry Bivol. Also, when you factor in that he couldn't really penetrate the high guard that effectively. Like, in this fight, I think one of the mistakes was just trying to continue to penetrate the high guard, and on a different night, he wouldn't have got the decision that he got. He won the fight, so we can't really criticize him too much, but I thought Dmitry Bivol did a masterful job of boxing. Thought he won 8 rounds. I thought he won at least 7. You could talk me into a draw, I think, as I get further removed from the decision. 114 doesn't seem as crazy, but I have a hard time seeing Beterbiev winning this fight. To me, Dmitry Bivol won this fight. And to me, Dmitry Bivol should be the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. So unfortunately, that's sort of the takeaway from this. I still think it was a great fight, and a great fight on otherwise a card that we're not going to remember too much from outside of a couple other performances, Jayo Pataya being one of them, and Fabio Wardley with a hellacious knockout. But then you have the Ben Whitaker blunder, and Sky Nicholson was very early on. Chris Eubank Jr., we'll see what happens next. But this was a great fight. Wanted to react to it real quick. We'll have more stuff on the channel coming forward. NBA season is on the way, and obviously some more fight stuff and other stuff in the world of sports. Stay tuned. Take care. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and be respectful.